Now, there is one more thing we're going to add. It can be an expense depending upon how you go about it, and that is a sling. Now,
Sling, yes.
if you decide that you really don't want to put any more into this rifle as it is.
Mm-hmm. Now, a big thing. Now, you don't have to get a sling, but if you want to, just get a basic 2-point. You can get them for $15. They're not that expensive.
But even just a hunting rifle sling.
A sling I recommend is the Blue Force Gear. I use it on my personal AR-15. I love it. The Blue Force Gear Vickers sling is a fantastic sling. Get the metal hardware, not the plastic. Don't ever get plastic hardware. You will regret it because it will wear out within a year, and then you gotta buy new hardware, which is half the price of the sling that you bought in the first place. So, if you ever do buy a sling, get metal hardware.
So if you do anything at all with this rifle, and you want it to be bare minimum, plain Jane, like this, get yourself a good quality optic.
Yeah.
And get yourself a good quality sling.
Now,
those two pieces are absolutely necessary. Well, maybe not the sling, but
the sling isn't necessary. If you're just
I think
at
it is.
home,
I think it is because
if you're just at home,
yeah.
if you're a regular civilian and you're just taking it at the range or using it for home defense or both, you're not going to really need a sling that much. But
I still recommend it though.
Still recommended. Yeah, it adds better stability if you know how to use a 2-point. The basics that you really need are sights, an optic, and a light, especially if you're going to use it for home defense like we're building it out for, which is home defense or 0 to 300 meters. You want a light. Now, we're going to find a cheap light online that you can get that is going to last. We're right now looking at the Primary Arms weapon flashlight. It's not the highest illumination on the market. It's only about 720 lumens, but when you compare it to other, industry leading flashlights like Surefire flashlights, for a long time they were only about 400 to 500 lumens. So it will do the job great, and it's from Primary Arms, so it's probably rated pretty well and will handle being shot with pretty good. Now, in my experience, when it comes to a flashlight, if it will last 50 or 100 rounds, it will probably last the entire life of the light being shot on your rifle. It'll be fine. Now, difficulty when you have this bare of a rifle, this base of a rifle, is mounting the light. You usually only have one option with these, and that's getting one of those ridiculous mounts that goes on the Delta front sight. Now, it's not the worst option. I mean, the worst option would be duct taping it to the handguard.
Hey.
But honestly, at that point, you might as well just replace the you want to replace the handguard anyway. You might as well get a cheap drop-in quad rail, Picatinny rail, and get a Picatinny mount and throw that on there. Because you kind of don't really have an option at that point. It's either get one of those weird, funky Delta front sight mounts, or duct tape your own handguard.
There's if you see this little piece right here, make a way to lift this up.
It's the bayonet lug.
This is the bayonet lug. They actually have a flashlight adapter that you can actually click onto this. Not a bad option.
Not a bad option either.
But there's only one problem. When you're going through your house or you're having to use it at night, let's say you're hunting raccoon or something, there's a problem with this. It's under the barrel.
Yeah.
Now, under the barrel is not a bad idea if you have this thing up and ready and you're sweeping and you've got sight on. It's a bad idea if you have this thing drop anywhere down below the line of sight straight ahead. You lose your light.
Yeah.
You lose your illumination. The best option would be above
the
barrel.
12
especially
o'clock
ahead of
position.
the front sight if you can.
A 12 o'clock position is probably the best. It gives you the best lighting, least amount of shadow in your vision, and least amount of shadow cast forward for the bad guys, if you're cleaning your house, to see you coming, or if you're hunting raccoons in your backyard, for the raccoons to see you coming. So, it casts the least amount of shadow.
And the thing is even if you drop it just a little bit, you still have light on. You don't have the barrel in with the long shadow.
You don't have the barrel and the long shadow. Slightly off of the 12 o'clock isn't bad. You'll find most people running like slightly off, either to 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock position, or you'll be seeing them throw it on the like 1 to 2 or 10 to 11 o'clock positions.
I prefer 10-15 myself. Okay, all right.
Just because, again, it's trying to get it as close to the to staying at the 12 o'clock as possible, so it gives you the best amount of light and least amount of shadow. Now, my recommendation is, if you can, not everybody can, but if you can, get a rail that will go around the front side, the Delta front side, if you're keeping it. Now, if you're not keeping it and you want to throw it away, go ahead and get a low pro, or better yet, cut it down and grind it down to being its own low pro, because of the taper pins on there. It's actually a really great mounting system for a gas block. It's better than the screw mounts that you'll see most people do. Do that and get like your normal M-lock or key mod key mod handguards that will like all the way down, and then you can get a front sight, place it behind the light, or get a front sight like combo like from Roshworks, where you can actually throw any 1 inch diameter body light that you want in there, and you got a front sight and you're ready to go.
Now we were thinking about different ideas about a base rifle, and like I said, you could just throw an optic on it and a sling. I do recommend the sling. He says it is optional.
Yeah.
To me, I think the sling actually adds a bit of control for the rifle, because you can use the sling to help it stay.
I will say this: if you are a police officer and you are required to purchase your own equipment, and you're buying, and you're probably not going to see anything past a 100 or 200 yard engagement anyway, and you're just buy a basic rifle like this, a sling is a must, because if you're pulling that out of your car, having a 2-point sling and throwing it on you, throwing that rifle on you real quick is really going to help you, especially if you have to transition, because transitioning is faster than reloading, let's face it. You come across, or you've taken out the bad guy, now you've come across wounded. Well, now you got to put your rifle somewhere, and you don't want to throw it on the ground for a little, Susie or Johnny to come by, pick it up, and shoot themselves or somebody else with it. So,
and believe it or not, there was a little statistic I saw not too long ago about police officers having.
Let's leave that for another discussion.
Having a need for slings. Period.
Yeah. But having that sling, you can sling that rifle out of the way. You can throw it behind your back, or keep it to the front of you just in case you want it really ready and handy. And you can start, providing medical aid. You can start dragging people out of dangerous situations. Maybe for some reason there was gas cans that were shot up, and there's a light that's above it that's sparking. You're afraid that it's going to set it off. Well, and there's somebody in the puddle of gasoline. Drag their ass out. You can do that. So a sling for of course, a soldier is a must, but for a patrolman is again a must. You're talking about something that keeps the rifle with you, keeps it secure with you, and is going to be fairly useful. And and in the medical situation, if you run out of tourniquets and you need to use something else, you can actually use a rifle sling as well. I mean, in that situation, you're using whatever you can, but again, a sling is a must.
Now, as I was saying, we did come up with a kind of an acronym for the basics of a rifle. If you're going to get a basic rifle and you want it to be fully functional and you want it to be usable to a great extent on most situations, whether it's home defense or plinking out at the range. And that is, we said, what, slow?
Slow. Sight, light, optic.
Sight, a light, and some type of optic, basically like a co-witnessing fold-down sight and back. The optic itself, co-witnessed, and the reason is because if this would go bad, get shot off, get broke off, you still have a usable sight that you can just flip right up and go with it. And basically, aside the light in the optic, you got the light up front, you're good to go. Now, I recommend also having a sling, so you could have it as SS
LO, which would still be slow. Be slow.
Now, what we're going to do is try to make it as budget as possible and try to come up with an estimated amount that we've actually spent. We're guessing by the time we're done with this rifle, it's going to be about $650, $700, which by all standards is the equivalent to a new one of these, as is, give or take.
Yeah, I mean, you're
on
talking
sale.
about if you're going to buy a new one of these, that's going to be like even close to what we're throwing onto it. You're talking about, I mean, not including the optic, of course, or the light, because those are going to be separate expenses. You want to spend a decent amount of money on them. Those are going to be considered separate expenses, and not to mention if you ever sell a rifle and you got a good optic, don't get rid of the optic ever. Keep the optic. Just sell the rifle. Let somebody else buy the optic. Unless you really need the money, then sell the optic, but sell it separate. Don't sell it with the rifle. Sell it separate, because then you won't get the best deal. If you sell them separate, you'll get a better deal. But
we'll keep you up to date on the rifle and everything, and try to do some videos when we can. It's going to be busy for the next couple of months, but we'll be doing some adjustments eventually in growing the channel. Now, by all means, we're not experts in everything. We do our research, and if we do come across some things, or we have maybe misspoke or didn't do our research properly, most likely you people are going to be putting comments down in the thing below and letting us know. Now, any links that we come up with, especially places where you can buy these things or the prices of things, we'll try to put the link below down in the description.
We'll definitely put the link below, and also. We got off on a tangent here, but what I was trying to say earlier about your rifles. A rifle that we're going to slick up for the amount of money we're going to put into it, you're going to see most rifles, brand new, slicked up similar, you're going to see them probably around the $1,400 to $1,500 range, if not higher. I mean, FN's base rifles are like $1,300, but not including FN. If we're looking at DPMS, Bushmaster, Daniel Defense, though they've gotten pretty expensive. You look at a lot of those and how we'll have our rifles set up in comparison, and it will probably actually be a lot cheaper.
So basically, we got our budget rifle for $360. We had this optic for a while that cost us about $170. So between the two, we're up to about $500, give or take.
And plus the quick detach mount, which is actually made by Samson for Vortex, so it's good. That's another $50. So that's about $550 into the rifle already. So we're going to try and get as much used stuff as possible, and try and throw as much on here with as little money as possible. Our plan is to try and keep under $300 for expenses in thrown in here, and I know $300 does seem like a lot to people, but remember, this is going to be each piece bought separately and over time. You won't have to buy all of this at once. You don't have to buy it all at once. Now, some of it is going to take more time than it is money. Like when we get the replacement handguard, we're probably also going to replace the D-ring with a decent barrel nut. So that's going to take some time to do. That's going to probably take a couple hours worth of work to get done, to take apart the handguard, remove the barrel and gas tube, and then take off the D-ring, and then I'll probably be unpinning this front sling mount and getting rid of it, because the handguard we're looking to go with is going to be going around that in the sling, so we'll just get in the way, and we'll probably just put a QD swivel on the front anyway. Now we will get a sling for it, but we will look around for a decent low budget sling that's not too expensive, but not so inexpensive. That's just basically a cheap nylon strap that's going to shred itself. There are a couple options you can go with. I mean, if we can find them used, a Blue Force Vickers, a Viking Tactics, Magpul MS2 or MS3 even. But
Is it Viking Tactics or Viking Tactical?
I'm not sure.
Viking Tactics? Anyway.
Vtac Sling.
It's Viking something.
It's the Vtac Sling. You know, if we can find one of those used for probably around $50, we'll probably go with that. But I know there are a couple other budget slings on the market that are around the $50 range.
Twisted duct tape.
Which will come apart really fast.
No.
Now I know
Okay.
if you guys have ever seen Grantham, he actually has a sling that he likes a lot. I forget the name of it. I will find it and put it down in the description though. It is a sling that is actually a really nice padded sling, but its attachments are paracord, so you can throw them in a sling loop. You can throw them around, you know, back here or up here, wherever you want on the rifle, and it's paracord. So if it breaks and you got more paracord, you can fix it. So you don't have to worry about, you know, your QD busting and then spending another $25 on a QD, or the mount, you know, busting and having to spend another $50 or $75 on a mount, or, you know, any number of other things going wrong. It's just simply, you know, grab some paracord, cut it to the right length, and or hell, if you don't have paracord available, just normal rope or twine even would work. So
Now, just as an opinion here, right now, we have a new president, we have a new Congress. Hopefully they can iron out their differences, but not to be political, this is probably one of the best times that you can buy weapons,
yes,
firearms, for the price.
The panic buying is down, like from Obama years, of everybody being afraid that they're gone. So a lot of people, one, are selling the guns that they have. They're trying to, now they need the money, so now they're trying to sell them so they can get money, but a bunch of people are selling them. So the price is dropping, which means the market is going to, everything on the market is going to start lowering in price. Even some of the surplus stuff out there that hasn't come in, you know, anything new coming in ages, you're going to see the price slowly drop because a bunch of people aren't now feeling the need to get it. So, you know, pay attention. You might see some good deals. We got lucky. We found this good deal. $360 for an AR-15 is pretty much unheard of right now. I've seen them go used for, you know, about $400. But if you look around, you pay attention, you might be able to find an AR-15 deal like this around $300, $350, maybe probably $350 to $400, but maybe as low as $300 to $350. So
now we got lucky. This was practically unfired.
You won't necessarily find that. You might find one that's pretty beat up and needs some more TLC. Might need to replace the barrel on it, but you can get standard M4 cut barrels for like $100, $150. They're not all that expensive. Granted,
well, speaking of
still
barrels,
$100, $150.
Barrel on this, the Armalite comes with a standard 1 in 7 twist,
Yes.
which means this thing can handle up to the 770 grain rounds. There are maybe even possibly the 90 grain Swiss.
Yeah, it can handle 90 grain Swiss.
And that's a good thing. Now, if you have the atypical barrels that they have out there, which are 1 in 9 or 1 in 8, the 1 in 9s are more common with the ones that are just firing 223. I think.
1 in 9, you'll usually you won't go over 65 grains with 1 in 9. You won't get enough stability for anything heavier than that. 1 in 8 is a good middle ground. You can get good stability on stuff into the 70 grain range and as low as the 40 grain range. But once you go into 1 in 7, there's one thing you need to know. You cannot go under 50 grains. Period. You can't go under 50 grains. I know there's some people like to use like the 40 grain VMAX on prairie dogs and gophers and stuff because they do have that available. Don't. Those rounds will literally shred in the barrel on a 1 in 7 twist.
And you don't want to fire a follow-up shot after that.
So what you really want is want to do is you want to stick with 55 grain and above. You can throw a 90 grain pill out of this. Like if you can get a hold of some surplus Swiss GP, I think 90 or something like that. It's like I don't think it's GP 90. It's GP something, but it's basically a nice, really long 5.56 pelt. Now it won't feed in a PMag, but it will feed in a regular USGI or a stainless steel mag, and they're pretty neat rounds if you can find them. Now we probably won't be able to find them because when you can, they're super expensive. But we'll probably at least try out several 55 grain to 75 grain rounds. I know we can get a hold of some already steel 75 grain steel match really easily. So that will probably cover the really high grains for us, and then we'll probably go with like a standard SS109 55 grain M855 for a 62 grain. Kind of give you a middle ground and a lower ground to see how it performs. Though we probably will also get some 55 grain VMAX and see how it performs, because 55 grain VMAX seems to be a really nice, really accurate round that people really love, and for coyotes or home defense, it's a good round. It expands within the first 2 to 3 inches of impacting something. Also, if you're going to use it, it's also probably one of the best rounds to use for home defense, especially in the city, because as soon as it hits anything, it starts to expand and shred itself. So if you hit drywall, it will shred itself, so it's not really going to hurt anybody on the other side. Now, some people are going, well, what if the bad guy's on the other side of the drywall and I want to shoot him? Well, you shouldn't be shooting at something you can't see. Only shoot at something you can see, because you want to be sure of your target and what's around it. So that 55 grain VMAX will probably not completely eliminate, but make the likelihood of a round going out of your house and hitting somebody extremely small. So that's our first video. I'm sure I've got a hell of a lot of editing to do. So,
Hell of a lot of editing.
Yeah, hell of a lot of editing. So we'll see you guys next time on Glock Tonight, and
Love me some black rifles.
and we'll try to keep you updated as much as possible. Right now we don't really have a schedule. It's whenever we'll get time and whenever we'll get new parts and stuff in. But our eventual plan is to at least have one video a month, maybe more. But for right now, our goal is to probably at least have one video a month, get you guys, interested and hooked on, because this is something we really want to do. We really want to have fun with, and we hope you guys have fun with us. And I hope we don't ramble on too much. But
edit that out.
This is Glock Tonight, and we will see you next time.